If you're struggling for money, but still want a loadout that allows you to deal some serious damage to your opponents, the flea market is a great source of cheap equipment, and will allow you to get right back into the action. This is my best budget loadout from the flea market, that will allow you to compete with the best if you're smart about it. I'm Gaz, welcome back to the channel. If you find this video helpful or decide to use this kit for yourself, leave a like. Subscribe for more Tarkov videos just like this, and leave me a comment with your favourite kits that are cheap and effective that can be bought from the flea market. There are 3 great benefits that buying loadouts from the flea market rather than traders will bring. Firstly, it's a second source of gear. No matter what loadout you decide to create, chances are that you'll be able to pick and choose whether you buy gear from the flea or from traders, whichever's cheaper. This leads to my second point, which is a huge majority of the items you find on the flea market, especially budget guns, will be wildly cheaper when bought from the flea market versus traders. This means more money for you to build a better loadout surrounding this weapon and buy ammo that you didn't have access to before. Lastly, there is a much wider variety in gear, as the flea is a collection of all of the gear in the game, so you've got limitless opportunities when it comes to handcrafting your perfect loadout. Okay, we've talked enough about the benefits of creating a loadout here, let's actually build one. Starting off with the weapon, the OP SKS is a brilliant gun that is cheaper than anything decent you'll find on traders early on. It costs less than 20k and is better than the standard SKS from our first budget guide for one main reason: the dovetail mount. Make doubly sure you buy one with a dovetail mount still attached, otherwise you'll incur additional expenses trying to hunt for one. The purpose of said mount is to attach what might be my favourite red dot sight, the OKP7. There are 2 different variations of this sight, so make sure you buy the one that has the attachment to fix to the dovetail. This will set you back around 18k, at least at the time of this recording. Next, we're going to need some lead. 60 rounds of 7.62x39 PS ammo is what we'll go for again here, and you'll want to buy that from Prapper, as he sells it cheap at level 1 for 91 rubles per bullet for a total amount of around 5,500 rubles. And to round off our SKS, I've decided to go for the ProMag SKS A5 20 round magazine. These will hold 20 rounds of ammo as opposed to the 10 rounds in the internal mag, and allows the gun to be actually reloaded rather than chambering 10 rounds manually after firing off. It's up to you, but I would recommend grabbing 2 of these, taking them in fully loaded, then repacking them if needs be when it's safe to do so. If you do choose to take one in, however, you'll still benefit from having the ability to manually reload 20 bullets instead of 10. They cost around 9k each. There you have yourself a pretty solid gun, but we've still got some work to do here with the rest of the build. Finding this video helpful? Leave a like to show your support and subscribe so you never miss a Tarkov video. For gear, starting from the top, the headset you choose will come down to personal preference, as all of the decent ones fall in the 25 to 30k price range. Personally, I prefer the Sword-ins, but you might like Comtacs or Tac Sports. Play around with them and see how you feel about each. I've gone back and forth on the helmet for this budget loadout a few times, and I suppose it really depends on what your individual budget is. If you're going for pure money saving and effectiveness, it's hard not to recommend the SSH, as I did in the first budget loadout video. It's incredibly cheap at between 13 and 20,000 rubles and does practically everything you need an inexpensive helmet to do. However, if you can stretch to that 33k, you've got the 6B47 Racknick helmet that can be purchased from Ragman level 1. This helmet does everything the SSH does and then a bit extra. It still has the top and nape coverage, with a high ricochet chance, roughly the same durability, but this one covers the ears and still allows you to wear a headset. For me, all coverage of the head is good coverage, and I'd have a hard time recommending the SSH to you over the 6B47 if you can afford it. With that dilemma out of the way, we move on to a more easy decision, and one where we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone: armours and rigs. I had considered recommending the Zuk police armour, which is level 3, but it made infinitely more sense to me to choose the 6B3TM armoured rig. This one has 40 durability, is class 4, made of ultra high weight polyurethane, which is very repairable, and is only 55k. That might sound like a lot, but remember, you'd be spending on both the rig and armour vest, and getting worse protection, as this is a level 4. I think it's a no-brainer for this budget. Then, the final big decision is which backpack is going to be the most cost effective. Sure, you could go in with an Attack 2 and fill it up with expensive stuff, but if you die, it's a fair chunk to lose. No, instead we're looking at the Scav Backpack, Berkut or Daypack, whichever is cheapest. At the time of recording, I snagged a Berkut for 20k. These have plenty of space if you loot efficiently, and much like everything in this loadout, is extremely likely to come back in insurance. Last of all, and importantly, you'll need some meds. Ideally you won't need them, but it's better to be safe than sorry. First up, grab an IFAK for around 13,000 rubles. It's got 300 hit points and will heal light bleeds pretty cheaply, so there's no need of a bandage. Next, grab a hemostat. In my opinion, the IFAK and hemostat combo is much more efficient for healing and space than purely a Salewa. Hemos will set you back around 10k on the Flea, but have 3 uses. I find if I take a heavy bleed in a fight, 50% of the time I actually get more than 1, therefore 3 uses is perfect. Grab a regular Splint for 2.5k from Therapist. Fractures seem much rarer than heavy bleeds, so I think for a budget build a single use Splint does the trick. Finally, pick up some painkillers for around 5k. 4 painkillers is enough for you to pre-med before a fight, or pop them to get away and de-escalate a situation. And with that, you're ready to go. If you're struggling for money, play passively and play to this kit's strength, which is hitting hard from medium range. You don't want to be engaging at super long distances without a scope, and similarly, don't try and clear rooms in buildings unless you're super confident with your point firing capability. This entire loadout will set you back roughly 215k, which might sound expensive, but it's a fully rounded loadout in comparison to the 140k you've been spending up to now if you've followed my level 1 trader loadout. And you're looking at setting yourself up for success consistently by spending a little more overall and knowing exactly how to play with this kit. If you found the video helpful, leave me a like, subscribe and leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.